Okay, in this video, I'll be responding to a Derrick Jaxn video called Fellas Let Go of That Hurt, where he responds to a meme that illustrates the decisions that some women make in their late teens, 20s, and 30s, and the end results of those decisions.
You know what? We all have been rejected before, fellas. I mean, we all been rejected, especially back in high school, before we got our game tight, before we got our confidence right, before we came into our own. We all been curved, rejected, turned down, looked over, ignored for the older guy, the more popular guy, etc., etc. But at some point, you got to let that hurt go, man. At some point, you cannot keep talking about the girl that turned you down in high school.
So what he just did there was a bait and switch, change the narrative tactic, in an attempt to minimize the point of the meme. This meme is not about one guy that got rejected by one girl back in high school, but instead it is about an actual societal issue that's prevalent in the black community, where so many of the women spend the prime years of their life having sex and reproducing with the worst, most irresponsible men in the community. Derrick Jaxn knows this because after 6 books and 600 videos, he finally admitted it.
Quick, man, because there's no doubt that there are women out there who only want the bad boys, only want the guys who are thugs, in and out of jail, felons, deadbeats, all that kind of shit.
Now, a lot of those same women would have said that there were no good black men. But now that they're over 30 and overweight and have a bunch of kids by a bunch of different men, now all of a sudden they know exactly what a good black man looks like. Now they can spot a responsible black man a mile away.
You try to holler at a woman in high school and she turned you down, and now she got 5, 6 baby daddies and you don't want her anymore, and now she want to get married. Okay, that's cool if you're 19, 20 years old, but if you're 40, why the fuck are you even still thinking about this? And I say this because think of a woman talking about how a dude just lost his job and he turned her down back in high school before she sprouted her curves and took off her glasses and cleared up her acne. How would you look at that woman? Like a damn fool. Same way I'm looking at y'all, like fucking clowns.
So he gave a bad analogy to his incorrect interpretation of the meme. A good analogy would be if a previously desirable man who's now physically unattractive spent his prime years womanizing and now has 6 kids by 5 or 6 different women with more back child support than he could afford to pay, all of a sudden said, now I'm ready for a wife. Now I'm ready to be married. No one would ridicule women and tell them to get over their hurt for calling out guys like this. In fact, Derrick Jaxn has made videos about guys just like the women depicted in the meme, and his arguments change drastically depending on who's in the hot seat.
He tweeted today that he was ready for a wife after 6 kids and 5 baby mamas, after $1.3 million in back child support that he almost went to prison for not paying, after spending his best years womanizing. Now he's ready for a wife. Which, at this point, hell, with all that baggage, I can see why he'd want some help carrying them. But that's pretty much a call to any woman that's desperate enough for the title of wife, who's going to confuse a man saying that he wants a wife with him also being ready to be a husband, to go ahead, line up and shoot their shot to get what will be a meaningless ring from him. And I explain all of that to say this. Don't be that woman.
We got him.
Fellas, don't be that guy. If it's okay for Derrick Jaxn and women to identify that type of behavior as wrong in men, then it should certainly be okay for us to identify that as wrong when women do it.